minutes until showtime. 3 minutes until showtime. 2 minutes until showtime. 1 minute until showtime. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Insurrection, obstruction, indictments, civilly liable for sexual abuse. The one man responsible for all that could be sitting in a prison cell on election day and still be elected commander-in-chief for these United States. That man is beholden to Putin, weakened NATO the last time around, and is currently tying himself to wealthy Saudi oil money. He enriched himself when government stayed at his properties. He campaigned on wanting to use government to go after his political rivals and wants to expand executive power. If Donald Trump is re-elected, our nation is lost. So let's roll up our sleeves, get to work, and tell the MAGA folks no more before it's too late.
Hey, there we go. My son, I reckon my son kicked out my cord from the microphone here, so I had to do a late start to my show. My conservative Dan radio, right? Because I had to do conservative Dan radio today because, well, it seemed like the right day to do it. You know. Well, what my conservative Dan radio looked like if conservative Dan radio was a thing. But before we start doing conservative Dan radio, I want to welcome everybody to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. I'm your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you from New Orleans, Louisiana. To join the conversation, it's area code 914-803-4131. That's 914-803-4131. You can also join us in the chat room on liberaldanradio.com, which is the YouTube channel, youtube.com/liberaldanradio, or you can join us on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/liberaldanradio. If you happen to be watching or listening on Block Talk Radio, just join us in those other two chats. I don't monitor 3 at a time. If you want to support the show on YouTube, you can like the live stream, subscribe to the channel, send super chats, send super stickers, become a liberal Danimal, various levels of membership there. You can also, on Twitch, if you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. You can just go ahead and use your Prime subscription and go ahead and do that because, it's free to do and it's, helps me out a little bit. And, or if you could always pay $5 or whatever, $5 or $6, whatever it does that way. And you could also spend bits as well to support the show too. So anyway, just trying to get to do something simultaneously as I was doing that, but it didn't seem to work. So my technology is failing me today. That sucks. Anyway. There we go. Yay. Post that. Thank you, Nick Rich, for gifting. You can also gift subs and gift memberships there. So thank you very much, Nick Rich, for gifting a subscription over on YouTube. And that was just me with my Nerdy Dan account subscribing to my Twitch account with using my Prime subscription to subscribe to myself. So, there you go. Anyway. Liberal Dan, plug it in. Yeah. It's been a fun technical... It's not just technology that's been failing me today, by the way. Today is the day, or yesterday, probably more specifically, is the day that my water heater decided to finally fail on us. So, we had to go buy a new water heater today. So, that was a nice chunk of change I wasn't expecting to spend this week. And what else? What else is going on? So then if we have a plumber coming out tomorrow, hopefully to come check it out and see. And, I've just had to throw out a whole bunch of stuff from our garage because our garage had a whole bunch of stuff that was wet simply because of the fact that the water heater had a leak. And I was 30 years old and probably very rusty. And, nothing was done right in this house to begin with. Anyway. Let's sigh. So it is what it is. I think I lost my, whatchamacallit. I don't even know where I put it. I might have even closed that window. I don't even know. So what's the big story tonight, Dan? So the big story tonight, I was supposed to have Britt Gondolfi on, former candidate for Louisiana State Senate. She's currently on the Louisiana Democratic Party's State Central Committee. I guess she won her district, so kudos for her. Congratulations on that. We will be having a discussion about that more. So there is that. But there's my studio back open again. We'll be talking about that next week, including some pettiness that we will be talking about, because we have talked about the horribleness that was the Louisiana Democratic Party chair, Katie Bernhardt, who lost her bid to become, to even win her Democratic State Central Committee seat, which was wonderful to see, even though lots of other incumbents to the State Central Committee still managed to win their seats, which was not good to see, because people just keep voting for the same idiots over and over again and expecting different results. But we'll talk about that more next week. And we'll also talk about her new book. Because that was a last-minute change, unfortunately, there's not much planned to talk about, but I was like, oh, April Fool's Day, let's talk about, let's do a Conservative Dan show and pretend to be conservative and see what Conservative Dan radio would look like in a world where I was raised in a different way or something. Although I think ultimately Conservative Dan still probably wouldn't vote for Orange Foulius. But we'll talk about Raging Cajun Louisiana Dan is without hot water. Yes, I am without hot water. In fact, after we cleaned out the mess that was my garage, because it was already messy, and we had to clear a path so that the guy could bring the water heater in and out, and I had to go take a shower and with no hot water. So that was very refreshing, I should say. It was very, very cold. It was very, 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 very cold. Oh my goodness. So anyway, continuing on the ways to support the show. You can also buy me a cider. Go to buymeacoffee.com/LiberalDanRadio or click the Buy Me a Cider button on LiberalDan.com. Or you can Venmo me, Liberal Dan, also and support the show that way. Wait, this is good. Dusty Smith is doing Evil Dusty. You're doing Conservative Dan. Yeah, well, I'm going to go back and forth doing Conservative Dan and just regular talking, but Conservative Dan is just, I might talk a little bit about it. I was thinking about just doing a whole new, different background, making myself look evil and making it look all evil and rebranding the entire thing, but I just didn't want to scare everybody away and having people forget that this is April Fool's Day. So, what's up, Alton? Good to see you. But yeah, I didn't want to completely just that because that's the risk that people take for doing April Fool's jokes with their brands, is that if they go too far, they risk losing audience, and then people run away and just no, I'm not going to listen to you anymore. But it was a joke. So anyway, so yeah, so hopefully by tomorrow I will have a new water heater installed. It's purchased, it's just not installed yet. We'll see, and then who knows how long it'll take to heat up the entire thing, but we'll see. Wes, imagine life with no hot water, no central heat. My parents grew up with it. You had to heat the hot water on the stove. The oldest took a path to last. Nice. And there were some times where I've had to take cold showers, and it was wonderful. I remember, well, it wasn't really a cold shower, but I remember when I came back after Hurricane Katrina for the first time to check out the damage in my house, clear out all of the crap and clean it and clean my fridge so that it would, have a chance to air out, because I wasn't smart enough to just empty all the food out of the fridge beforehand. So we cleared all that stuff out, and, found a dumpster and threw it in a dumpster, even though I don't think that's technically kosher to do, but not Jewish-wise, but legally-wise, but whatever. And so after I was done with all of that, I hopped in the shower, and now obviously there was no water being serviced at the time, but I did have a 5-gallon bottle of water, of spring water, like one of those big ones you put in a water cooler in your office. So I took it and I dumped about a good third of it over my body just to get myself, then I soaked myself all up, and then I washed off by putting another 2/3 of it over my body, and it was cold, but I was so hot it felt really, 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 really good. So we were considering a tankless water heater, but that was going to cost twice as much, at least. And so I was just going to go with this one at the moment. But we were tempted to go for the tankless water heater. If there wasn't other issues that were going on at the time, tankless water heater was the way to go. However, I had other issues to deal with because we do have a natural gas hookup. There are electric tankless heaters, I believe, but we do have natural gas, and there is a natural gas. The current heater is a gas heater, so it's already set up to handle gas. So that wasn't an issue, but it's a matter of, do I want to spend $500-$600 on the heater, or do I want to spend like $1,200-$1,300 on the heater? So there's that. So yeah, it looks like I'm a little bit out of sync, maybe. I don't know. That's how the saying, I sewed the baby out with the bathwater came to be. The family from the father, mother, so the children would take bath in the same bath. The baby would be the last in the dirty water. Nice. But yeah, so the other problem I was having to deal with today is that in Louisiana, we have an insurer of last resort, which is called Citizens, and I've complained about Citizens before, but I was able to find a better insurer with a better rate, especially because I have a new roof, and we so we were able to get a better rate, like save $4,000 over the course of the year. So what we would do is we changed mid-year. So I got a refund. So I had to wait for the refund check from both my regular insurance company for like casualty and fire and that sort of stuff and theft. And then I got that quickly, but I was waiting on Citizens to issue the refund. Meanwhile, while all this was happening, Wells Fargo, who was my original insurer, decided to sell my mortgage or whatever to somebody else. And I was like, what? So now I have this new mortgage holder that I have to deal with, and they were like, okay, from what I could tell, they weren't going to look at my escrow account until next year. I'm like, okay, good, I have time. And so I went ahead, but I still got the check and went ahead and paid an extra escrow amount. And I thought all was going to be well and good until I saw my next mortgage payment that was going to be due in May, because they already paid my April one. And all of a sudden, I was like, wait, why is my mortgage payment so high? Turns out they did look at my escrow account, and they upped my escrow to a certain amount of money. And I was like, what? So then I had to, I tried to call in, and I tried to like, well, what's going on? And I couldn't get to a human. It took forever to get to a human. I had to hang up and call again because I got stuck trying to be in an automated payment system, and the automated payment system, to try and pay off the rest of the amount that was due, wouldn't consider the fact that I already paid part of it. So it was like, okay, you need to pay your $10,000, but I've already paid $7,000. What? Why are you trying to make me pay $10,000? I've already paid $7,000. So I finally got to talk to a human, and that got all squared away, finally. So I can I'll either end up paying $100 more a month more for the remainder of the year, and then my mortgage payment will go down once my escrow catches up, or I can pay off it and then I'll pay like less. But I'm like, why not pay the $100 more now? And they're basically giving me an interest-free loan. So we'll do it that way. So, anywho, that was my stress over the weekend. No. I'm not talking about PMI, Ken. We don't have PMI. I'm well below 80% loan to value. We still have to have an escrow account for homeowners insurance and property tax. So that's not a thing, I guess, here. I don't know if that's a thing anywhere else, but we absolutely have to have an escrow. They absolutely require you to have homeowners insurance here in Louisiana to cover in case of storms, because It doesn't matter how much your loan to home value is. So, but yeah, we're terrible when it comes to the cost, and they're actually going over in Louisiana. They're talking about making it easier for insurance companies to drop customers. And I wish I had the time to go up to Baton Rouge and talk at one of these hearings, and because I would be like, do y'all even know how insurance works? Because y'all are killing the citizens of Louisiana by allowing this to happen. It's a giveaway to these insurance companies. Because sure, you're allowing insurance companies to come in and only insure the high-risk people. Meanwhile, Citizens has to only pick up the low-risk people. You're allowing these companies to come in and pick up the low-risk people. Meanwhile, Citizens has to pick up the high-risk people. And guess what? That means that they're going to charge exorbitant rates for their product because they're only covering high-risk without getting the benefit of being able to cover low-risk people. That they don't have a pooling effect like anybody else would do. So if somebody's selling insurance in the state of Louisiana, they should have to pick up the high risk and the low risk and so they can benefit from the pooling effect, or let Citizens, let the state insurer pick up all of the people so they can get the pooling effect. Let it happen that way, because otherwise they shouldn't be allowed to sell insurance in the state of Louisiana. Simple as that. So, anyway, it just bugs me that the conservatives. These are the conservatives that are put. I guess I should say as conservative. Let me flip on my conservative Dan hat. I think it's wonderful that these representatives in the state of Louisiana, the legislature, were finally controlled by a bunch of Republicans who are going to let all these businesses come into the state and finally be welcoming to all these insurers and let them insure who they want to insure, because that's America. You should be able to do business with only the people you want to do business with. And who cares if the other people can't get insurance? Who cares if I can't get insurance on my double wide and be covered in the case of a tornado? If I can't get it, that's my problem. That's called individual responsibility. Now, when my double wide does get tackled by a tornado or a hurricane or both or a flood, I'll probably still go run into the government because I'm a hypocrite. But still, that shouldn't be the problem of the private insurer. The private insurer is supposed to make money first and foremost. They're not supposed to worry about their customers. That's secondary. Because if I was running a company, I would want to make sure that I could make money first and foremost too before anything else. I wouldn't care about my customers neither. There you go. There's conservative Dan for you. Let's see. What am I missing? I thought I missed something. Is anybody dealing with the storms that are currently going through the Midwest or the center of the country currently? Jeff Curry, my house is paid off. That feels so nice. I can't wait for that to happen. That would be so nice. I reckon that would feel lovely. I know two guys that make stupid money. They bought a pontoon I'd repoed, put a hot dog cart on it, Party Cove Lake off the Ozarks night. Yes, everybody, please check out the post that Aaron is showing right now. You can win a signed pic of Desire Mason Alexander Park from the Sandman. More info at the link that she showed below. It's to benefit a good cause. One of Aaron's friends unfortunately was killed, and it's going to help that individual's family. So please go check that out and support it if you can, and get a nice prize to boot. So just one of the ways you can help out. Another way you can help out the show by helping out the people who are part of the show as well. Hey Murph, good to see you. Welcome from down here in New Orleans. I have been to Toronto once. Enjoyed it. It was cold because I was there during the winter, but still, I enjoyed it. So, let's see. We got some news. Let's talk about some news. Are we going to talk about news as conservative Dan? Let's talk about news as conservative Dan. Democrats grumble over Mike Johnson's Ukraine aid proposal. Mike Johnson's talking about giving Ukraine aid. I don't know about that. I thought us conservatives loved Putin. I thought we were on hashtag Team Putin, not hashtag Team Zelensky. But we're going to see. It's kind of hard for me to read because I'm Team MAGA as a conservative Dan. But what is Mike Johnson he floated a plan. Did he float it in the toilet? Is that why they think it's crap? The aid bill likely to require a 2/3 majority, and Republicans largely opposed to Ukraine aid. The vast majority of Democrats will likely need to support the package. So Speaker Johnson wants the Democrats to support his package. Is that what they're trying to say? Let's see. What is this package that Speaker Johnson is trying to handle? He wants to immediately take up votes on foreign aid. Johnson also faces personal peril. MTG is trying. Marjorie Taylor Greene, isn't she a beaut? I tell you, if you want to be cuckolded, that's the woman for you. Let's see. What are they saying? What they trying to do? Bipartisan group of members introduced a $66 billion military assistance package to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan that includes border policy changes to appease the Republicans. Over the next 2 weeks, we will take the necessary steps to address the supplemental funding request. So Johnson is talking about his package that he's trying to pass, but he's afraid that the other Republicans are going to be hard on him. So they shouldn't be too hard on Johnson, though, with his package. So, anywho, trying to think of any other double entendres I can throw in there when it comes to my Speaker Johnson and his package and him being hard on the other Republicans, but I don't know, coming up short with any of those. What are you looking for? Mario Kart. Oh, my child is looking for a video game down there, and I was like, "What the hell are you looking for, boy?" Yes, Robin, his package might be very hard to pass. Apparently, according to this news side, his package is getting a cold response. They might want to reduce it. Some might say his package might suffer some shrinkage after it goes through the Ways and Means Committee. But, MTG, she might just decide to cock-block the whole thing. He might get some more support, though, if included in there would be some funds to erect the wall. Anyway, the fight over that might get a bit hairy. Both centrist swing district lawmakers declined to commit to voting for Johnson's proposal. Wiley Nickel, a Democrat from North Carolina, said, "I just need to see the shape of the bill." I'm serious. That's literally what it says. I just need to see the shape of the bill. Does it curve a little? Does the bill curve a little bit to the left? Does it curve a little bit to the right? That's how Wiley Nickel needs to know whether or not he's going to vote for, whether or not he could hold on to that package and support it. One spokesperson for Representative Jared Moskowitz from Florida, another swing district moderate, said he is open to the idea. So Moskowitz is open to the package, but the details of a complete package really matter. So you can't really get... he's not really going to accept the package until they can see the full one. So now Johnson's going to start texting his package to other members of Congress, causing some concerns among certain members. Members of Congress, if you will. If Johnson's package lasts for more than 4 hours, he needs to call a doctor. What else? So yeah. Although some Republicans, they might be they're not decided whether or not they will or will not support it. Some might say they're just playing with Johnson. But, you know, if you play with Johnson too much, you might end up with a mess on your hands. What else is in the news today that I can comment on as conservative Dan? That's actually pretty. Oh, they actually found the guy who was the last person to make it off the Key Bridge. I consider myself very lucky. The understatement of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Got the guys and gals and non-binary pals. I consider myself very lucky. This man was one of the last to make it off the Baltimore Bridge before its collapse. Yeah, you think? I think he was the truck driver. And his name was Larry DeSantis. Well, he's already unlucky enough to have the last name of DeSantis. So, you know, God had to repay him somehow, and he repaid him by letting him survive the bridge disaster. DeSantis says he believes he was one of the last people to get off the bridge before the deadly collision. In an interview on CNN, he recalled the drive across, focusing on the guys on the bridge, trying to drive carefully around them. I really didn't see the ship at all. I was just focused on what was right in front of me. Well, that was good driving on his part. Good for you, sir. Only indication something was wrong was what DeSantis described as a lack of vehicles. Even in that early of the morning, there was one vehicle behind me. It was a tractor, but he didn't have his trailer because I actually got in front of him right as we started to go over the bridge. Traffic camera video from the final 5 minutes before the collision shows a vehicle that would match DeSantis' vehicle and timing what appears to be a trailerless truck following, though the video is not entirely clear. Only 6 more cars went through that lane before the 980-foot container ship struck one of the bridge's pillars. The collapse sent vehicles and people into the bridge's Patuxent River, blah, 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 blah. We all know what happened. Unfortunately, those people passed away. But, geez, just imagine. Tim Farrell. Yeah, that's right. Wait, I got to do his conservative Dan. Thank you, Tim. Mayor Pete set a death trap for people in Maryland, and he survived Mayor Pete's death trap. Well, maybe if Speaker Johnson could get to the bridge, maybe they could erect it faster. Wait, and Biden's going to be going to the collapsed area. What's he going to do? Put all the things to sleep? Biden plans to meet with local and state officials and assess the nascent recovery effort on the Patapsco River. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said, just said 2 offices were opened Monday in Baltimore to help keep small businesses affected by the disaster apply for low-interest federal relief loans for up to $2 million. There's going to be temporary channels that are going to be marked with lighted aids to ease navigation. So they're going to have channels that are going to be for commercial ships to be able to get the port in and get the port operational while they're working on removing bridge parts. Well, that's good. It's good that they're going to get the port operational even as they're working on this. So that's a plus. That's a good thing. So. And I think that's I heard something about it. Maybe get even that being done maybe by next week. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could probably just grab enough and just kind of throw it over. Elon thinks we can build it faster if we just use all the metal that's there already. Well, I mean, I did hear something from some bridge building experts that said that as long as the metal is sturdy enough, it's possible that they could reuse some of the metal. I'm not saying they could reuse all of the metal, but they could reuse some of the metal. It just depends on the shape that it's in. You know, if they, and there's nothing wrong with that. If they reuse, if any of the metal is reusable, why not use it? And I think some of the experts did say it. Now, would I trust Elon as to what metal was reusable and what metal was not reusable? Abso-frickin-lutely not. I'm sure Elon would think all the metal is reusable, try and rebuild the bridge, and it would fail the next day because, yes, Robin, I did yawn. I'm sorry. It's been a rough day. Tim, you're doing my work for me. If we didn't have migrants there wouldn't have been any deaths. That's a very good conservative point. Have they never heard of duct tape? Yes, duct tape. It's like the Force. Has a light side and a dark side, and it holds everything together. It would take some time to check for stress fractures. That's true. MJ did absolutely. Depends if it's sound or not, but again, I would not. I would not listen to Elon Musk at all about whether or not a bridge or a piece of a bridge is sturdy enough to be used to be reused on a new bridge, unless you took all the metal and melt it down and then reuse that metal to rebuilt it up. But I don't know, that might take even longer. I mean, maybe you could just recycle the metal and then have it be put into use for something else. Maybe that would be something that's possible. I don't know. But again, I'm not a structural engineer. I don't know that's not my purpose in life. That's not my job. I would defer to the other experts in the field. And that's not what conservatives like to do. Conservatives don't like to defer to experts. They like to be their own experts on everything because they think they know everything. Damn it. All those shipping containers came from overseas. Coincidence? I think not. They're all foreign shipping containers. That's the problem. We need just domestic shipping containers. Now, and then we would have been okay. If you look at it logically, sure, Elon thinks we can rebuild the whole thing for next to nothing in crazy fast time because all the metal is there. It's completely metal. Let's see what else. Oh, you also had the wait, should I do the Republican conservative stupidity as conservative Dan on the Trans Day of Visibility, or should I just let that one go? Because holy crap. That one was just mind-numbingly stupid. Why did Joe Biden plan the Trans Day of Visibility on the same day as Easter? Dumbasses. I mean, seriously. Like, Donald Trump said after the 2016 Nevada primaries how much he loved the poorly educated, and those poorly educated people work hard every day. They probably even don't work hard, but they try and prove to him every day why he should continue that love for them. Because holy crap, the Trans Day of Visibility is the same day every year, but Easter isn't. It's Easter's fault. It's the Christian formula as to determine what date Easter falls on that determined that this year Easter falls on the same day as the Trans Day of Visibility. You frickin' dumbasses. I want to know if your neighbors with Ricky Lee Jones. Not that I'm aware of. Wes, not talking about you guys. Oh, you want me to start talking in my Brooklyn accent? Forget about it. We could talk about you guys. What, next year? Really? Is next year's Easter is on 420? That's great. The Easter Bunny's gonna get high, dude. Rock and roll. Let's get high with the Easter Bunny. You get the munchies and eat some chocolate, dude. Right on. I hope they clear the harbors and Wouldn't it be great if all of the Trump Bibles were stuck in the Baltimore harbor? Then you would hear the reason that they had the bridge crash into the bridge get crashed into by the freighter is because the Trump Bibles were coming out of Maryland and they didn't want them getting out, so they had to do something. I'm sure the Trump Bibles are being printed in China or something. But yeah, that Trump Bible, I mean, if you haven't seen it yet, I have uploaded as a separate video my version of what the Ten Commandments must look like in the new Trump Bible, and other people were doing the same thing on TikTok. Apparently, they were reading versions of their favorite parts of the Trump Bible, but nobody had of yet done the Ten Commandments. So apparently, I did a good job by jumping on the Ten Commandments first. So it's the sneakers. He's gonna. I would have gotten my sneaker orders to every one of you, but they were on that ship, and we can't get them off the ship. They were lost. No sneakers for everybody, and no refunds. I'm sorry. We've already spent the money, and we can't replace the sneakers. Just consider it a gift to your favorite president, who is being very badly treated by Joe Biden and his corrupt Justice Department and all the attorney generals who are going after him in each of the states with this corrupt Biden prosecution. Brenda, they can only leave in 2 commandments. But you only need 2 commandments with me, because I have the best commandments. Nobody has better commandments than Donald Trump. If I had the money, I would love to pass out free Jefferson Bibles. But I don't like the Jeffersons, for reasons that you could probably guess. Donald Trump does not like the Jeffersons. They would not move on up into any of my buildings, because I got in trouble with that with the feds. What's going on, Bite Mike? Bicycle Mycicle? I think that's what we should call you. Bicycle Mycicle. Bound in rich Corinthian leather. Kark! From hell's heart I stab at thee. The Gospel of Wheezy. Any other news that we can make fun of when it comes to these clowns? Let's see. There's the... Well, when we were talking about Donald Trump, or when we were talking about Speaker Johnson, we should have also brought in discussion of the gag order. Because how could you not talk about Johnson and not talk about a gag order? I don't think there would be a gag order if we were talking about Speaker Johnson. But yeah, you have the judge expanding the gag order in Trump's case, which, good. But of course he doesn't like that. And Trump's of course like, I think you should indefinitely suspend the case because it's too popular. My case is too well known. Yeah, I can't get a fair trial. You're the one making it well known, idiot. You're the one who's making a big stink about it, putting everything on Truth Social. Like, come on, dude. It's your fault that it's this big in the news. That's your problem. You made this problem. You made your bed, lay in it. What I think is great, though, is everybody was like, oh, look, Donald Trump just made himself super rich with Truth Social because it went public and it went up. But I'm like, just give it a few days. It's a meme stock. And, of course, what happened? It went right back down. Truth Social is just crashed. They had to do an SEC filing, and everyone was like, jump ship, get out, get the F out. And then it went up to a high of $79 per share on Thursday. And then it went down today, $47. And he lost $1 billion today. $1 billion. And everyone was sitting there like, oh, he gained so much money when he grew up. When it raised, because everyone was buying it, so it launched. I mean, that was hilarious. But see, Trump's Truth Social company posted its new financials to the SEC. Firm generated $4.1 million revenue for all of 2023, racking up $58 million in net losses. Market cap is greater than $6 billion. This isn't an April Fool's joke. They had to put it in that this is not an April Fool's joke. The value of TMTG's brand may diminish if the popularity of President Trump were to suffer. Further, the company warns if we experience a decline in the number of users or a decline in user engagement, including a result of the loss of high-profile individuals who generate content on Truth Social, advertisers may not view Truth Social as attractive for their marketing expenditures, yada, yada, yada. So the stipulation commonly used to prevent newly public entities from signaling internal collapse or lack of faith in the company's future applies to Mr. Trump, who otherwise stands to make billions if the value of the company can be held up. Let's see. The filing also confirmed that stakeholders, including a former president, are still subject to a 6-month lockup period before they can sell or transfer shares, which is hilarious because he probably sat there and he was like, I wish I could sell these stocks right now. It would be wonderful if I could sell these, but I can't. And then like 6 months from now, when the stocks are worth like pennies a share, he's like, I'm financially ruined. I'll never financially recover from this. Again, Donald Trump himself lost $1 billion on paper. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he net. I mean, he increased in value on day one, and then he decreased in value today. I don't know what his net increase and decrease is at this point. I can't seem to find it. So it might be about even. Let's see. I'm trying to see, because a lot of the things that are coming up are just articles about it and not the actual ticker prices with it. So I could actually see the there's that. No, maybe that's the one I'm looking for. Because there's Digital World Acquisition Corp, which I think is what acquired Truth Social. Or they merged or something. They kind of merged together. Paid by Russian oligarchs, yes. I made 10 grand in one day on AMC, which was cool, but I then lost a bunch of it again, so who knows. So yeah, so it went live. When did it go live? It went live on, was it Thursday? Is when it went live. The 28th. It went live the 28th. And I don't know, let's see. Trying to see if I can find anything. What? See, date of Trump stock IPO of Truth Social IPO. Come on. So I keep getting. Okay, it's 5 days ago. It was the second day of trading. So 5 days ago, this article was on the 27th. So let's see. On the second day, it went to 66.22. On Tuesday, it began trading on NASDAQ. So Tuesday was... Come on. Tuesday was the 26th. So it started on $57.99 or whatever is, I guess, the original IPO. Maybe, or maybe that was the ending price. Let's see. Problem is that now it's worth like 48. So, yeah. We'll see how much further it goes down, but he's going to be in a whole mess of, poverty. His wealth is going to tank if this really makes him suffer. My son made a couple thousand in a few hours shooting a video of a female model. He didn't text me. He had to FaceTime me about it. I asked what she was doing. He said, "What is she not doing?" Nice. I just saw said it done the headline which said Donnie paid his $175, but as well as checking in on families that, yeah, unfortunately, they lowered it to $175 and then he paid his $175. Apparently it was backed by some who backed Trump's bond. There was some company that backed it. company backed by Don Hankey, a California billionaire who made his fortune on high-interest car loans, comes to Trump's rescue. Mr. Hankey, is he like the Christmas tree? Like, howdy-ho! Hold on a second. I have somebody knocking at my door. I turned off my mic. I've addressed child, but at least he's over 13, so it's fine. I don't need to be patted on the head. Thank you very much. Anyway, so it was the bond was provided by California-based insurance company Knight Insurance. Is that like Michael Knight? Knight Industries 2000. Trump's collateral to secure the loans was a combination of cash and investment-grade bonds, according to Don Hankey, the chairman of Knight Insurance. Hankey told Forbes that his company had initiated a deal, reaching out to Trump just a few days before the appeals court lowered the amount. Trump would have to pay while his appeal is heard. This is what we do at Knight Insurance. We back felons and criminals and whatever. I'd never met Donald Trump. I'd never talked to him on the phone. I heard that he needed a loan or a bond, and this is what we do. So we reached out, and he responded. The deal came together in a few days. Wow. So he's hoping to have a president, I guess, on the hook, or whatever. Hankey, a billionaire who presides over an auto services empire, may have never met Trump, but he was the largest individual owner of Axos Financial, the lender that bailed out Trump by refinancing his mortgages at Trump Tower and his Miami resort in 2022. Axos also previously had done business with the family of Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law. Interesting. Spokesperson for Trump did not immediately respond for a request for comment. So there you go. Birds of a feather, all that good stuff. Take craps on cars together. Yeah, Brenda, knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me. Twice on the pipe if the answer is no. Oh, my darling, means you'll meet me in the hallway. Twice on the pipe means you ain't gonna show. Truth scoundrel. Truth social. It has truthiness to it. Remember that word, truthiness? Oh, there's my thing. All right, I found it. I had just moved my screen with my other, whatchamacallit over. It's a long day. Did I tell you it was a long day? It's a long day. It's always a long day when you have to spend over $600 that you weren't expecting. What's up, Govin? What's going on, man? Yeah, 30-plus bond companies wouldn't touch him, but this guy would. I guess, he has plans for the main. You know what I'm saying? Wait, Wes, we ignore some topics, I see. I don't know, I might have missed some topics. If you're still that innocent, it is all underground finance. The world turns into racketeering, gold and diamonds, blood rocks. There's definitely blood money in all those jewelry. Has anybody seen the video of the man narrowly escaping the rogue 4-foot saw blade that almost hit him? That's just ridiculous what happened. I mean, I can't describe it and do it justice, but holy crap. It's not worth it just to bring it up just for one small video, but go look that one up. That was nuts. Oh, boy. Oh, wonderful. JFK Jr. has qualified for the ballot in North Carolina, campaign says. Oh, boy. So that idiot is going to try and screw up Biden in North Carolina, even though Biden now has a shot in North Carolina. Just because he claims he did doesn't mean he actually did. But, and who knows who's going to come out for him if they do. But, His family hates him. Like, that should be all you need to know. Yes, you're supposed to stay inside if the sirens go. Not just inside, but head to the bathroom. The most interior bathroom of your house. Dan, you are not conservative. I know I'm not conservative. I'm being silly with my conservative Dan radio silliness. Did I say JFK? RFK. I'm sorry. I told you, it's a long day. I do have something today that I do want to bring up that I thought about earlier today, and it has to do with the Israel-Hamas thing. And you have lots of protesters every day, but even today, out there protesting Netanyahu in Israel. Israeli protesters protesting Netanyahu, wanting Netanyahu to resign. Lots of Israelis do not like Benjamin Netanyahu, period. So one of the things that I was thinking about the whole thing when it comes to a lot of the people who are out there saying that Israel shouldn't exist is you're basically saying that all of these people who live in Israel, who don't like Netanyahu, who disagree with what Netanyahu's doing, who want to have peace with the Palestinian people, you're telling those people that they have no right to a homeland there as well. Make it make sense to me. Make that make sense to me. You're basically shunning allies that you can have in the quest to have Palestinian statehood, in the quest to have Palestinians finally have a peace that they deserve without the harmful actions of Netanyahu and Hamas. But you're just willing to ignore all that and ignore these people who are actively opposing Benjamin Netanyahu for what? Again, just doesn't make sense. Easy. I definitely think Zero Dems who like Biden will vote RFK Jr. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. There could be people who are like, well, I might be tempted to vote for Biden if it was just two, but maybe I'll vote for RFK Jr. instead because reasons. Because I like to cut my nose off to spite my face. Now, if they weren't going to vote at all, and instead voted for RFK Jr., then, I mean, them not voting still helps Trump win. Because not voting is a choice, unless you're prohibited from doing so via the law. So if you're choosing to not vote and instead you just vote for RFK Jr., your action is a throwaway action, even if that action is inaction. But you still could have taken an action that would have helped defeat Donald Trump, who now both Trump's vice president and Secretary of Defense are now saying publicly that they're not going to vote for Donald Trump. I think that's never happened with the vice president before. You've never had a vice president who said, "I'm not voting." Supposedly, I'm not voting for the president that I worked for. And now you have another member of Trump's administration who is like, "I can't vote for the guy." That should speak volumes. The man does not naturally create loyalty in the people that he works with. He might demand loyalty and force it but forced loyalty isn't loyalty at all. So now, it's true that maybe some of the wackadoodle, conservatives might vote for RFK, especially because he's spouted some anti-Semitic crap, and they might like that. They might have to, which anti-Semite do I like? But so if it's conservative leaning votes that are like, well, I could never vote for Biden, but I'm never going to vote for Trump, so here you go. Meh. Not sure what loss there is there, but still, if there's only two people who are going to win this election. There's only two people who can win this presidential election at this point. Donald Trump and Biden. So if you're not voting for Trump, and then you think Trump is a bad choice, and the worst choice out there, and is an existential threat to America, you have one choice to save America, and that is Joseph Robinette Biden. Period. And then RFK has children's blood in his hands from his anti-vax nonsense. He also brings up like anti-Semitic conspiracy theory bullshit. It's terrible. I just wonder what made him that way. What made him just go off the rails like he has done? Comparatively. Like, him, like, you have his family, and then you have him who, like, fell out the tree and knocked himself on the head a couple times. Just boom, 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 boom. I'm gone crazy. RFK Jr. also likes Tulsi. Well, why wouldn't he? It's just one more nut for the trail mix. The trail mix ticket, let's call it. Easy. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. What did the five fingers say to the face? Smack. I'm not voting for RFK to get a heart attack, though. I'm voting for RFK to get a pineapple enema, like a whole pineapple. What? Still no VP choice for Donald. Any thoughts? I'm thinking Vivek Ramaswamy. Like, I think that's who he goes with. I think Vivek is the most Trumpian of the people that ran. I think the whole presidential election was just hey, I want to be VP, and there's part of me that's really hoping that it's Vivek Ramaswamy, simply because I just want to continue on with the man bear pig thing, since he is the guy who, as a senior in college, wrote a paper on human animal chimerism, or man bear pig. Oi. Jolie, I'm Rick James, bitch. Charlie Murphy. Did I tell that story last week? I think I did. Chappelle's Rick James will never not be funny. That's true. But yeah, just me sitting. Because Henry, just my youngest son, used to be like, and just make that noise. And every time he would do it, I would just be like, Charlie Murphy. And my wife would laugh. And then all of a sudden out in public at one of Thomas's school events, Henry's like, and Thomas is at like in pre-K4 is just like, Charlie Murphy. And I'm like, parent of the year here. My kid's sitting here as a pre-K4 student quoting the Chappelle Show. Thought it was when the five fingers said to the face slap. 4 letters part of the joke. It might have been Slap. I don't know. Demonox. I want Bailey J. Where were you, Demonox, during the whole Mike Johnson conversation? I mean, I know you said you were busy doing some graphic design work, but I mean, you missed all of the double entendres when it came to Johnson erecting bills and having a mess on his hand and all that other good stuff. So... I used to get my little sister to watch Dave. She turned into my mom. What does that mean, Wes? See, I don't know if... I mean, I think they might have been trying out What's-Her-Face from Alabama during the response video, but I don't think that's going to happen ever since she botched the response video from the State of the Union. Oi, that was just terrible. I mean... conservative pundits are going to be like, oh, she was so lovely and wonderful. Look at that. Good to see you, Jojo Mojo. I'm sorry to hear that you're hurting. I'm sorry to hear that you're sick, but I'm definitely glad you're back. Brenda Triplett, yes, the KKK sketch was gold. Just, oh my God, just... the black Klansman who divorced his wife because she was a lover. Just, oh my goodness. Hope everything is okay, P-Dubs. That hope that it's just a general wellness visit with the doctor and not anything super bad. A few years ago in Jeopardy, a contestant that got the answer right, and he said Chappelle style, Charlie Murphy! It was funny. Yes, Clayton Bigsby. The Real World was funny too, that Real World episode where 7 strangers, they have the one white guy and poor white guy. That's hilarious. We are just a bunch of old sick folks. Yes, indeed. Oh, one thing I did want to talk about, just personal life-wise, that was kind of amusing. Some of y'all might remember this a while back, because with my Nerdy Dan stream, I got chosen to do, to be an affiliate for an energy drink, and I've only sold one thing, so I haven't really made any money off of it. But it's good tasting stuff. Haven't really hawked it on here, but through the Dubby energy drink thing, this one guy was like, hey, does anybody want to do like an online version of Survivor? And I'm like, sure, why not? I'll look into it and see, whatever. And so I jumped into it and I did it. And apparently I was the oldest person ever to participate in their Survivor thing. So it was like, okay, I finished in 6th place, which was relatively decent. But the only reason I lost is because somebody targeted me because he was afraid that I would get the winning votes because everybody liked me too much. So I was invited back to be on the All-Stars version of the show, and so we're in the top 13 now. But right before this past week, I thought I had a good coalition going on. I see Wes. I'll get to you in a second. I thought I had a good coalition going of alliance, and I thought I had 3 people on with 3 teams going on, and I was like the captain of my team, and I thought it was 2 people. I thought I had 2 other people on my team, and we lost the challenge, and I thought that we were going to do a great job of kicking the other 2 people out. So I was like, okay, good. And I thought we had an alliance, but this person who I thought was in my alliance stabbed me in the back and made it so that me and the other person who was in my alliance were both put into the final challenge and were at risk to be eliminated. So and somebody else threw somebody else into the elimination challenge. So what originally was supposed to be a 4-person challenge and a game of Uno to determine who won turned out to be a 5-person elimination challenge, and it turned out to be a game of poker. And I told my wife this, and she was like, ooh, they're in trouble. I'm like, yep, because I'm pretty darn good at poker. And I don't know how good these people were at poker, but I'm very good at poker. I would judge that I was but I was sitting there like, I don't really know. I don't know how to play Hold'em. How do you play Hold'em? What is this game? I don't know. I've seen it on TV, but I really don't know. Like, I'm kind of new at this. I didn't get to play it much at home, blah, 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 this and that, the other, yada, yada, yada. Trying to play it off as if I was some sort of novice. And then I come in and I'm like, boom, 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 boom. One of the guys got really lucky, but then I ended up making moves when I was supposed to, and I just destroyed the whole thing and ended up winning the game. And so I survived, and then the other person had a totem that allowed them to survive as well. So the 2 people that they tried to eliminate both got saved, and I was just all petty, like, you tried to screw us over, and it failed miserably. Suck it. And the person was like, that's rather childish behavior for the person who's the oldest contestant. I'm like, oh, is your feelings hurt? Too bad. So, give us a duet with you and Wes. I don't know what Wes would want to sing that we could sing and harmonize with, but we'll see. Welcome, hey. Wes. How are you doing today, my friend?
Give us a duet with you and Wes. I don't know what.
Oh, we're hearing myself in the background, Wes. So can you fix that?
Hey, Wes. How are you doing today, Wes?
I think I'm about 10 seconds behind.
Yes, you have a 10-second behind. You're 10 seconds behind.
Exactly. We are way unsynced.
But can you
I am trying to.
Okay.
I'm trying to, but my phone is crackling.
Okay. Like Snap, Crackle, Pop, Rice Krispies? Yeah, 21 is blackjack.
I can only hear you through my home stereo, but if I do that too much, it's going to make giant echoes.
Huh. Weird. All right, so then what you got to say, and then we'll let you go. So we'll make it quick so you don't have to hear us too much.
Giant echoes. Weird. All right, so then what you got to say,
Okay, one of my points. My sister.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, I can't hear any of this. A big fucking liberal. A lawyer, an attorney.
Okay.
And we're on Echo. Anyway.
I'm letting you talk. Talk. Just go. Talk.
She can't stand Dave Chappelle. Anyway.
Okay.
Love you, P-dubs.
I'm putting you back on mute because I don't want to have the thing. But I mean, Dave Chappelle, it has some problematic issues with himself, and he has said some problematic things when it comes to trans people, when it comes to other issues. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not a big. I'm super. I have issues with Dave Chappelle as well. That doesn't stop his old stuff from being funny. His old stuff is still funny. I mean, his Clayton Bigsby act was funny. His Wayne Brady bit, freaking hilarious. I'm Wayne Brady, bitch. So yeah, I mean, I used to love watching the Chappelle Show, but yeah, he has kind of gotten to the point where he's one of those types of, well, you can't joke about anything, and then he wants to be edgy with some of his stuff that he said, and it's harmful to some people what he said, and that's why a lot of people on the left don't like it. And I'm not a big fan of some of what he said too. So it's fine, but still, that's not going to stop the fact that a lot of his sketches from his show were absolutely freaking brilliant. So, anyway. You know what they say.
It is what it is.
There you go. They must poke smut together. Nice. He had issues with his township because they wanted to introduce affordable housing. There was something more to that story too. I don't remember what it was. I don't think that was the entirety of it, but there was some issues to it. Let me pull that up. I think there was something else. Affordable housing issue. Was Dave Chappelle against affordable housing? Dave Chappelle spoke out against affordable housing plan in his community. A plan for affordable housing portion of a new development in Yellow Springs has been scrapped after comedian Dave Chappelle added his voice to those opposing it. Plan for Ober homes can move forward, but without the affordable housing that originally had been planned. In a statement to CNN, Chappelle publicist said Dave didn't kill affordable housing. Concerned residents and a responding village council killed a half-baked plan which never actually offered affordable housing. Chappelle, who plans to open a restaurant and comedy club in the area under his company Iron Table Holdings, was one of several who spoke up Monday during a village council meeting against the project, or about the project. As seen as a video posted to the YouTube page, Chappelle questioned why the council would support the housing plan while it kicks out $65 million a year. While it kicks out a $65 million a year company. I cannot believe you would make me audition for you. You look like clowns. I'm not bluffing. I will take it all off the table. The Dayton Daily News reported that he was one of numerous residents who spoke out against the affordable housing portion. Without question, Dave Chappelle cares about Yellow Springs. Yellow Springs sounds like something Donald Trump might enjoy from a hooker. He's sewn into the fabric of the village. Let's see. Neither Dave nor his neighbors are against affordable housing. However, they are against the poorly vetted cookie-cutter sprawl-style development deal, which has little regard for the community culture and infrastructure of the village. Ultimately, the council was deadlocked on voting 2-4 and 2 against. On December 2021, Yellow Springs News reported that Chappelle, who lives near the development, said during the council meeting that he was adamantly opposed to the proposal that would add 140 mixed income level homes to the village. I invested millions of dollars in town. If you push this thing through, what I'm investing in is no longer applicable. I would say that Ober can buy all of this property from me if they want to be your benefactor, because I will no longer want to. Yeah, it seems like he didn't want low-income people in the town where he invested his money in. Doesn't seem to be anything that, in that article at least, that seemed to explain why there was a difference of the story there. But, hey.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. And Easy Network. Exactly. That's exactly the point that I was going to make. It was going to be NIMBY, not in my backyard. And there's NIMBY on both sides of the aisle. Ted Kennedy famously didn't want wind farms off the coast of Martha's Vineyard or wherever the hell he lived on the coast. Why? Because he didn't want to have to look out into the ocean and see the wind farm out there. He didn't want to see it in his backyard, but he wanted others to have to see those wind farms. So if you're going to be an advocate for green energy, guess what? You might have to deal with seeing a wind farm or two from your house. Oh well, deal with it. If you can't put your money where your mouth is, don't put your mouth anywhere either. Right? Yeah, and if you're going to be NIMBY, Just be honest about being NIMBY. Just be upfront about it. So I don't want this in my neighborhood. Fine. I remember one time I was watching something on the news. I think I might have been in high school, and there was some development or something, and there was like this woman lived on one side of a park, and then there was a park, and then the other side of the park they wanted to open a Walmart, and the woman literally was on the news saying something to the effect of, I'm a Republican, and I'm supposed to be supportive of business, but I don't want to have to see a Walmart when I'm going to my park. I'm like, well, guess what? Welcome to liberalhood. Welcome to progressiveness, where we, support things like proper building zoning and support green spaces that are not harmed by industry and other businesses and infrastructure. Easy. I do carry money in my wallet sometimes. I don't want my money near my ass. I don't know. With all the expenditures I've had to make, there's not much money to go in my wallet anymore. So unless everybody makes does a super chat, then that might help out. I know of a few houses that had windmills until their Trump signs went up and the windmills came down. Wow. Yeah, Wes, we want them out of the ghetto, but we don't want them to move next door, be rich, don't slaughter goats in my backyard, please. Yep, exactly. Like, there were people after Katrina in Chalmette, which is in St. Bernard Parish, or all of St. Bernard Parish, basically, were basically like, they tried to pass legislation that said you could only rent to family right after Katrina, because they didn't want people in St. Bernard Parish renting to New Orleans people who were coming back to no homes. So they wanted to make sure that they could keep their neighborhoods as lily white as they were before. Freaking gross. Absolutely freaking gross. They had similar issues going on with zoning and residential issues in because they didn't want things that were zoned for R2 residential 2 in certain neighborhoods, because then they could open apartments, and then the people who were living in New Orleans could come up and live in the apartments in their neighborhood. And well, the people on the North Shore are famously racist, and they didn't want people from the South Shore who were those New Orleans types, i.e. black people, coming up to go live near them and ruin their neighborhoods. Because that's how they be. That's what they are. Again, a lot of the conservatives that lived on the North Shore crossed at the time the longest bridge in the frickin' world to get away from New Orleans. The chocolate city, if you will. If you're wanting to cross the longest bridge in the world to get away from black people, you may very well be a racist. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway. Because I didn't have a whole big of a show planned. Because I was supposed to have Britt on today. So I didn't do much other planning, because I'm sure me and Britt and I were going to be talking a whole lot about the Louisiana Democratic Party. I don't want to talk too much about the Louisiana Democratic Party because, that's what me and Britt are going to be talking about next Wednesday. And because I don't have pretty much else to talk about when it comes to that, I think I'm probably just going to call this show finito for today. So, Aaron, please remember to post, or I can do that here because I have the link as well, so we can copy and paste that. for Aaron. Oh, there you go. We did it. We were about to do it at the same time, but it's fine. I can always undo. Make sure to, if you can't afford to chip in or donate to win the prize from Aaron's contest, at least if you have Facebook, just go to it and share it. Share it with your friends. Maybe you have friends who enjoyed Sandman or what have you, and maybe they would enjoy donating to the contest as well. I would appreciate it. I'm sure Aaron would appreciate it as well. And just again, remember, as always, to do all the stuff to help the show out as well. I'll be on Twitch tomorrow night, Tuesday, around either 7 or 8 p.m. Central, probably maybe 7, maybe 8. We'll see. For more of the NerdyDan.com show, NerdyDan.com on Twitch. You can join me there. Otherwise, I'll be back here Wednesday. This Wednesday, Britt's not coming on. Next Wednesday, we'll be talking shit with Britt. But we talk about all new politics of the day. Remember to like the channel, or like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. Anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with me again. Y'all have a great day.